Hello and welcome to another of my battles on World of Tanks. This time is on the tier 3 Chinese light tank, the Chi-Ha. Actually one of my favorites in this tier. Probably one of my favorites overall actually. Thanks to especially a very powerful gun. I've actually got a very well trained crew on this tank, and I actually tend to play this tank quite a bit as a sniper. Although its camo values are not that great, but it's just a gun. It's just amazing gun for the tier. Really powerful. It can penetrate on standard ammunition on average 81mm, and with premium ammo 130. So that's a pretty good. It's almost like a tank destroyer basically. But it's got the turret and the mobility. Now the way I like to play this tank is, like I said, as a sniper. But obviously, you know, as being a light tank, you have to move a little bit and maybe scout a little bit. But there's no need in this particular team, because we've got a team in this particular battle, because we've got a good team that is actually
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
well positioned on the map, and they do some spotting for me, and so I start straight away with a kill. And on this particular map, which is Prokhorovka, you do tend to kind of sit and wait a little bit, because it's a fairly good map for sniping, but also you can get spotted relatively easy, because it's fairly flat landscape, so it's easy to get spotted. Now the problem with this particular battle is that let's see if we can take this one out. It's a Valentine AT. That's gone. And should be able to get this one. Yes, come on. Oh, that was really unlucky. Just left with 5 HP. Anyway, as I was saying, on this map, you tend to kind of wait a little bit for things to happen. And the problem with this particular battle is that the enemy actually has a relatively powerful tank, and that's the Panzer S-35. It's classed as a medium tank, but for all intent and purposes on tier 3 it does actually feel a bit like a heavy tank. So I've got one of the few guns on the battlefield that can actually penetrate that tank, but in particular from medium to high to long range. The game is not going terribly well. It's very uneven, very even. The other problem with this particular battle is that the enemy has actually got a very high number of tank destroyers, and you'll see that bringing quite a lot of damage to our side. There's the Panzer 35 S-35. He's probably spotted me, and is actually pounding at me quite a bit, so I backtrack. It's not really the best thing to do, because I'm actually still keeping within his line of aim. So as you can see, I'm kind of slightly changing the axis so that he thinks I'm still sort of to the left, sort of here, whereas I've actually switched. So if he carries on firing even without seeing me, it's not gonna hit me. The tally is still not looking any much better. In fact, it's looking worse. But I'm just determined, and I'm going to try and take out this Panzer S-35. It's absolutely crucial that I do, because he's already got 2 kills, and with the help of the tank destroyers, this team can be very hard to crack. So what have we got? On that side, there's a T2 medium. Looks like he's actually been taken care of. I'm being hit by a T-18. So I'm immediately returning fire, and with a bit of luck, it's gone. Okay, notice how I'm using the dead tank in front of me to completely cover my silhouette. I have to do that because that Panzer S-35 has got a good gun, and I've already lost a bit of my HP, so I can't be too bold in this situation. I've got to think about, first of all, protecting myself. To my right there's a T-18. Unfortunately, it's not really much help to me, because his view range is very limited. I'm the only one who can actually spot this Panzer S-35. I've got binoculars and I've got a good view range, but with all these bushes, there he is. See, I managed to spot him once again. So let's see how I deal with that. Trying to find a bit of cover, but also a good position to fire, and he disappears. How annoying is that? In the meantime, he's also destroyed the T-18. That shows how dangerous that tank is. So I'm actually completely on my own on this side of the map. Look at that. I'm the most advanced of the team, or so it seems. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's us. It's all of us. All our team is right here, and I'm the most advanced one. So the best thing I can do is actually sit there and just wait for the enemy to make a move, and I'm pretty sure they will, because the Panzer S-35 has got a lot of armour, and therefore it's likely that he will think about advancing. At the same time, I make a bit of movement just to see if I can perhaps get a different angle and maybe be able to spot something through the bushes, but I don't. At this point I decide to reverse. Why? Because I have no real cover from my teammates, apart from maybe that T-18 way back. In fact, it's too further back. So the best thing to do is to backtrack and line up again with my team, so that we're all compact again, we're all protecting each other, and it's a bit more difficult for the enemy to pick me out as a single tank. Now we begin to spot again a little bit, because obviously the enemy wants to attack, and you have to be careful when you cross this ridge, because you do become a bit visible. So as you see, I've got my turret ready for fire in case they spot me, but I've done this because they know the enemy knows or thinks I'm still there at E1. Instead I decided to switch over, especially now that we're losing, so it's getting even more difficult. So I switched over to the other side, where the enemy is less likely to expect me. And in fact, I have done a bit of spotting myself here, and dead. So we're even again. It was worth doing that. So I'm going to continue. They obviously know that I'm here now. Two of my teams are advancing on the right. There, you can see the Marder and a 38T. So I am just going to carry on sticking my turret just a little bit above the turret. Ah, there it is. And it's dead. Okay, now everything looks a lot better. Even though we're still even, we've lost another tank, the Marder 3. Sorry, the Marder 2. I actually feel a lot more confident now, because we've got rid of the biggest threat. But we still have 4 tank destroyers versus 2 light tanks, a tank destroyer and a medium tank. And I also have lost a little bit of my HP. Now, because I've got the I was just going to say, because I've got the 38T going on the right side, the left side of the map, I was going to go on the left side, but then suddenly they capture our base. I'm the closest to the base, so obviously that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go and defend base. I try and use that rock to cover me a little bit, and finally there he is, Marder 2. Okay, in the meantime the 38T destroyed the Marder 2 as well, so it's looking everything a lot better. I'm actually looking at a tally of 6 kills, so I've got my top gun. The it looks like the 38T is capturing base. I thought that was a little bit too hurried. I would have waited a little bit more until at least the 3 of us back here would have kind of caught up with him and be able to provide him with a bit of cover. Still, nobody from the enemy side seems to do much about it. We all hurry to try and see if we can provide him with some protection. I'm a little bit hesitant here because this is where you can be spotted. In the meantime, the 38T has obviously been hit, and now is actually being killed by the T-82. So where are they likely to be? They're obviously not on this side. We've gone through there. They're not here. And it's unlikely that they can actually spot a tank capturing the base here from the top of the hill. So my guess is that they're out around there. So let's see how this pans out. Now I stop here and wait for my binocular to kick in. Nothing happens, so they're either very well camouflaged or they are further down towards the bottom of the map, but I'm pretty sure that they're there, so I don't move. If I will move, it will only be very slightly, I mean like literally just a few meters. In the meantime, the T-18 is very boldly going to catch the base, and he's got a very short view range, so I doubt he'll be able to spot, but who knows, maybe he will. He's approaching the base, the moment of truth. And there he is. He did spot. Can't get that one, but all of a sudden I just make, like I said, a few moves, a few meters, and the 81 appears. 7 kills and ace tanker on this particular battle. To be very honest, I always do fairly well on the Chiha, if only I've got a decent team. And in this particular battle, you've also seen the importance of protecting your tank using destroyed tanks, and the importance of switching over to another side in order to spot a little bit further. Thank you for watching.